they waste less energy. Let's go after a 100-year supply of natural gas that's right beneath our feet. We can create hundreds of thousands of new jobs and improve our economy, and we can cut in half our oil imports by 2020. That's the goal that I am setting. I want to make sure that everybody in America gets a great education. Education was the gateway of opportunity for me. It was the only reason I'm standing here. But I wasn't born to wealth or fame, but I got a great education. Same thing for Michelle, same thing for a lot of people. It's the gateway to the middle class. And so, again, we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. We took on a system that was sending billions of dollars to banks and lenders in the student loan system. We said, why do we need middlemen? Let's give the loans directly to students. We can help keep interest rates low. So we can gut education to pay for more tax breaks for the wealthy. Or we can decide that in the United States of America, no child should have her dreams deferred because of an overcrowded classroom. No family should have to set aside a college acceptance letter because they don't have the money. No business should have to look for workers in China because they can't find ones with the right skills here in the United States. So I'm asking you to help me recruit 100,000 new math and science teachers. Help me improve early childhood education. That learn the skills they need at community colleges that will lead directly to a new job. Help us work with colleges and universities to cut the cost of tuition. Number 4, let's reduce the deficit in a way that doesn't stick it to middle-class families. I'm already working with Republicans in Congress to cut $1 trillion in spending. And I'm willing to do more. I've put forward a plan for a $4 trillion deficit reduction. But to do that, we can't just cut our way to prosperity. We've got to reform our tax code so that it's simple and it's fair, and ask the wealthiest households to pay higher taxes on incomes over $255,000. Go back to the same way we had when Bill Clinton was president.
Hells yeah. Love it.
23 million new jobs, and the biggest surplus in history, and a whole lot of millionaires to boot. Now, in fairness, my opponent has a plan too when it comes to taxes. But as President Clinton said, it doesn't have any arithmetic. They're trying to sell the idea that you can somehow lower our deficit by spending trillions of dollars more on tax breaks for the wealthy. And no matter how many times they try to reboot their campaign, no matter how many times they try to tell you they're going to start talking specifics really soon, they don't do it. They cannot explain how $5 trillion of tax cuts are going to be put on the table without raising taxes on middle-class families. And they don't stop there. They want to spend another $2 trillion in new military spending that our military hasn't asked for. So the reason they don't explain it is because they can't. The math does not add up. So if they go around, as they have in Ohio, with some board behind them with the numbers, saying how it's a moral obligation to reduce the deficit, just ask them, well, explain us how the numbers work. Because they don't. They don't have a deficit reduction plan. They have a deficit expansion plan. Governor Romney may think it's fair that somebody who makes $20 million a year like he does should pay a lower tax rate than a teacher or an auto worker who makes $50,000. Don't vote. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it helps the economy grow. You know, we cut taxes for middle-class families. And we want to keep taxes low for 98% of Americans, 97% of small businesses. And the reason is, when middle-class families have a little money in their pocket, what do? Yeah, because you've got a lot of needs. So you may end up, trading in that 10-year-old car, buying a new one. Maybe you buy a new computer for your kid who's going off to college. And what happens when you spend money? That means businesses have more customers. They make more profits. They then hire more workers. The economy grows. That's what we did in the 90s. That's what we did in the 80s.
I think most of us were, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to working with Republicans to reduce our deficit, but I refuse to ask middle-class families to give up their deductions for owning a home or raising their kids just to pay for another millionaire's tax cut. I refuse to ask all the students here to pay more for college or to kick children off of Head Start programs so I can take a tax break that we don't need. We're not going to kick the poor and the elderly and the disabled out of health care to pay for a tax cut like that doesn't help us grow. And I will not turn Medicare into a voucher. No American should have their golden years, their retirement years, spent at the mercy of insurance companies. They should retire with dignity and respect. We'll reform and strengthen Medicare for the long haul, but we'll do it the right way by actually reducing costs, not by dumping those costs on the seniors. Same thing with Social Security. We'll take responsible steps to strengthen it, but we're not going to turn it over to Wall Street. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about what happens here at home, but that's connected to what happens abroad. In 2008, I said I'd end the war in Iraq, and I did. In a responsible way, and we are. Because of the incredible service and sacrifice of our troops. A new power Al-Qaeda is on the path to defeat. Osama bin Laden is dead. That's why, so long as I'm Commander-in-Chief, we are going to maintain the strongest military the world's ever known. When our troops come home and they take off that uniform, we're going to serve them as well as they've served us. We deserve to do it. But even on foreign policy, my opponent has a different view. He said it was tragic when I ended the war in Iraq. He still hasn't explained how he ended the war in Afghanistan. I have and I will. And what I've also said is I'm going to use some of the money that we're no longer spending on war to pay down our debt and to put more people back to work. Because after a decade of war, it's time to do some nation building right here at home. the choice we now face. That's what this election comes down to. You know, the other side, they like to tell you, and they're going to spend a whole lot of money. They get these $10 million checks from these people who can afford to write $10 million checks. And they're going to run ad after ad, telling you the bigger tax cuts, fewer regulations, that's the only way to go. They're going to tell you that since government can't do everything, it should do almost nothing. Their basic theory is if you can't afford health care, hope you don't get sick. Yeah, some companies polluting the air your children are breathing. Well, you know, that's the price of progress. If you can't afford to go to college, borrow money from your parents. You know, that's not who we are. That's not what we're about. Government can't solve every problem. But it's not the source of all our problems either. Now, just like, we have this kind of politics where we pretend that somebody out there is to blame. You know, welfare recipients, corporations, or unions, or immigrants, or gays. That's not how this country works. Here in America, we believe we're all in this together. We believe America only works where we accept responsibility for ourselves, but we accept responsibility for the country and for each other. That's how we create opportunity. That's how we create possibility. We understand America's not about what can be done for us, but what can be done by us together as one nation. And you know, we got proof of this course 4 years ago. I said, this isn't about me. I said it was about you. That's what I said. So you're the reason that some mother in Cleveland doesn't have to worry about her kid not getting health insurance because of a pre-existing condition. You made that happen. You're the reason that factory worker in Toledo or Morristown is back on the line building the best cars in the world. You're the reason some student actor in Columbus or at Kent State can pay for a college education. He said, the president has admitted defeat. He's waved the white flag. I'm going to get the job done from the inside.